Hi guys, I'm going to be doing a basing tutorial today on one of these, just to get to the sort of the rough stone look, as you can hopefully. So it'll end up something like that. There you go. Let's start off. You obviously need a base and some cork. I bought a roll of this. I think it was extremely expensive at about 99p for a roll, and you'd probably get about 300 miniatures worth out of that. So yep. Okay, well first off you need to tear a piece of cork, just bigger than the base itself, not too much bigger, because you can sort that out in a minute. I'll tear a chunk off. There we go. So it covers the base, and then again I mean, it all depends on the kind of size of the rock, or if you want any gaps, or you can have two pieces, or whatever. So yeah. So once you're happy, you get your, when I find it, super glue. And glue the cork to the base. I like it when it hangs over a little bit. I mean, you don't have to. You can do it to size or a bit smaller. As you saw on the model I showed you, I've got also bits of soil run through it. Like I said, I wanted to change it because obviously I don't want them all looking the same, and this is for this guy here. And you see he's got quite a wide stance, so he's going to need bits to stand on. So yeah. So that's glued down. Now you just build on it. So I'll tear another piece of smaller, obviously. You sort of just line it up and check it, what you want first. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And again, with super glue, glue that down there. Just keep making sure that he's going to fit on that piece, which he does nicely. And you can either do 2 layers, you can do 3 layers, 4 layers, you can have as high as you want or as low as you want. I don't like them too high personally, but then it's personal preference, it's up to you. I'm going to go 3 on this one. So again, about the same size piece. There we go. So again, just using the super glue and stick it down. So there you go. So I've got 3 layers on there, and you can see the layers where they interlap, but don't worry about that. That's you'll sort that out in a moment. Okay, so now that super glue's been left to dry, which was reminding me to put the lid back on. You now need I've got a scribing tool, but any sort of pointed metal tool preferably will do. And you just, along the edges of where where the joins are, which joined onto the piece before it, you just scrape away like so. It doesn't matter if big chunks come off, it kind of adds to the look. Try and make it as random as possible. Like the bits that might be hanging over. So you want it to progress up rather than hang over. Natural rock wouldn't really do that. And you just go around the whole base. It can be a little time consuming, but it's not too bad. I've lost quite a big bit there, but never mind. And that should just about, a bit more there, I think. That should just about do it. So you should be left for something like that. Nice and rough. A bit more there I could take. And obviously your miniature will still sit on the top, which are Lord of the Rings miniatures that I'm doing, by the way. SBG. I'm not going into the Warhammer side of things. I prefer the Lord of the Rings. I'm just a fan of the Lord of the Rings series, really. So, but this can be used on anything that you have. Okay. Once you've done that, you prime it in black primer, because that also sort of serves as an undercoat for the stone, so that all the darker crevices and things like that are picked out nicely with the black. I use the Imperial primer, but you can use the spray or anything that you've got. I'll get it primed and leave it to dry, and I'll be back. Okay, so that's now all primed in black, as you can see. Nothing difficult about that. Next, it is dry brushing. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what dry brushing is, it's basically taking a bit of paint on your brush, then removing as much paint as you can on a paper towel, and then lightly going over the base, just to pick out the edges and just all the little bits that stick out. I'm going to use Storm Vermin Fur, as you can see, for the first dry brush. So like I say, you can do this straight out the pot. No need to water it down and thin it. So use an old brush, don't use one of your best brushes, because dry brushing destroys them pretty quickly, as you'll see. So you just remove as much of the paint as you can. And then when you sort of put it on your skin, that sort of nothing comes off. Close that up. Okay, and you simply go over the whole base, get into all the little all the nooks and edges, over the top, all the flat pieces, just everywhere basically, and just backwards and forwards. Ooh. If you feel like it's if it's not going on so well, just reload the brush with some paint. Just a dab. You can see why you don't want to be using your best brush for this. I mean, any brush that you actually paint the miniature with, don't use, because it will be ruined. This was a flat brush. I bought a whole pack of cheap brushes. I think they were $1.99, and just I just used them for dry brushing, and I've just snipped, just cut along there, just to sort of give it a shorter, stiffer brush. And that should do it. You can see not a huge difference. It's just you see it there. If you brush a wash with water, and repeat with a lighter grey. I'm using Administratum Grey. Administratum, or however you want to pronounce it. I can't get used to all these new names. Give it a shake. Paint on the brush. Again, wiping off as much as you can. Again, and these are just a few techniques I've picked up along the way. I mean, if you're new to the hobby, I've only been I've probably painting miniatures now for about 6 months. I've been model building all my life, but I've got into the gaming side of things, and like I say, I like The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings anyway. There is a great channel on YouTube from the GBHL guys, and they will basically, they've got everything that you need to know about the hobby, from playing to they've got a few, they've started doing vlog or vlog videos on their what they're painting, and there's a few sort of technical videos, there's tutorial videos on how you actually play the game. They hold tournaments, so yeah, it's a really good channel. They've got me into it. I've not really looked back. I've got my kids into it, they love it, even though they beat me and my troll, which I wasn't too pleased about, but never mind. But yeah, it's just a great hobby, and if, like I say, if you're new to it, or if you've been on it years and you're not on the GBHL channel, then go and check it out. I'll put a link in the description below as well, I think. Be nice like that. And there we go. So as you can see now, it's a nice, I'll try and get it a bit closer for you. If it'll focus, there we go. So we've got a nice sort of grey stone look. And that's basically the stone done. So now is really on your imagination or your preferences as to how far you want to take it. I'm going to add some tufts of grass and some bushes and things like that. I will show you, obviously. There we go. PVA glue, again very cheap, and you just put a few dots where you want your little tufts of grass to be. So I've one there. It's also good to use if you're hiding things. You might have dry brushed a bit too vigorously and removed some of the primer, so you can see the cork. So I mean, they're only tiny bits. You can just go over and dry brush them again, or you can cheat like me. So yeah, I think that'll do. Just have the 3, yeah. And then you get your grass, which you can buy from Games Workshop. As you can see, it's not cheap. You can get this stuff at hobby shops that sell model railways. I've tend to found, because I'm going to be using this as my like the bushes. This is also sort of scenery that you get for model railways, and it's a lot cheaper than £5 for this tub, but it does last a long time, obviously, because they're only small miniatures that you using tiny bits at a time. Couldn't get the lid off, but no, I have prevailed. And tweezers, and you just take a little pinch, like so, and just place it on your blobs of PVA. Repeat the process on all of them, obviously. And one more. There we go, got a little grass tufts. That PVA that's you can see, don't worry about, because it dries clear. If you don't want that bit, you just take an old brush and just sort of dab it, and that'll get rid of that. To make it stand up a bit more, take your scribing tool again, or a toothpick or anything with a sharp edge or a sharp point, and you can just sort of mould that piece of grass into a certain crevice, or just have it stand up a bit more. Push that through there. I've also got some extra bits that have come away, so you can just sort of push them aside. And there we are. Quite happy with that. And I think there's quite a large flat portion just there, so that's where I'll get that piece of sort of foliage that I was showing you. Let's just tear a chunk off, it's a bit too big. Oh, that's better. Just sort of make sure, because it might look small in your hand, but you put it up against these bases and it tends to grow. But no, I like that. I normally use super glue for these parts because they're a bit heavier, a bit larger. So you want to stay there. So PVA is not the strongest stuff, but it's okay for grass. And you just simply put a bit of glue on there. And just place it to how you want it. clear up any loose strands of I'll give it a blow. And there we are. And the other thing you can do is you can leave that bush like that, or what I like to do on some of them, not all of them because you want a bit of variety, is I wouldn't know what to call them, if they were flowers or berries, but just to give them a bit of colour. I've got red, but you can use white or like a fleshy colour, like a beigey pinky colour, or anything that takes your fancy, and just straight out the pot, which I nearly knocked over, and just put just little dots here and there. Let's clean the paint off your brush, obviously. And there we go, guys. That's more or less where we want to be with it. It's a very simple technique. I mean, I'm by no means a pro painter, or I don't do any commission work or anything like that. I've only been in the hobby, like I say, about 6 months. So it's just a technique that I've been shown, practiced a few times, and once you put the model on, I think they look great, especially when you're playing. You don't want to go too far on your bases, because like I say, with the transportation and things like that, and when you're playing, you don't want them to get damaged and things. And I think they're good like this. So yeah, all that's left to do really is glue your model on, which is as easy as finding your super glue, which I've done, and just gluing the feet. I've obviously cut away the piece that normally goes across, that slots into the base. You just cut that off. It's relatively easy, and just sort of get your model knife and just clean up the bottom of the feet so they're flat, and then you just plonk him on, hold him down for a couple of seconds just while the glue adheres. Super glue tends to stick to cork really well, which surprises me, because it normally has to sort of melt the plastic to bond it, but it goes down really well. And there you have it. I'll get you in focus. And there we are. And you can paint the model separately if you prefer, but I prefer to do it this way. It's much easier. It's all done then. And I will be painting this model, and hopefully videoing that as well, and show you the process on how I paint. But yeah, if you want to comment, if you want to like, then please go ahead. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks a lot.